So we have yet another hard problem, and this problem actually came in the May 2024 digital SAT math section. And this is very much similar to the previous problem that we did based on electric flux, very much similar. And as I always say that the SAT people love to give weird physics problems, which will have a lot of physics jargon, but you don't have to be afraid of these problems. Just treat them confidently and keep telling yourself just one thing, that every problem can be solved in less than 1 minute. With that attitude, just read the problem. So it says the concentration of a chemical compound is equal to the amount of the substance in the container in moles divided by the volume of the solution in cubic centimeters. So they will always define a quantity. Like here we have a quantity which is concentration. Concentration of a chemical compound is defined as the amount of substance in moles. Okay, so amount of substance present in moles, number of moles, divided by the volume of the solution in cubic centimeters. Volume of the solution in cubic centimeters. A chemist has two containers of different sizes filled to the brim with solution. Okay, so we have two containers and each in the shape of a cube. Okay, so you have two containers and both of them are in the shape of a cube. And also it says that the edge length of the larger container is 4 times the edge length of the smaller container. So we have two containers in the shape of cube, and one is a smaller container and the other one is larger. And the larger container's edge length is 4 times the edge length of the smaller container. So if the smaller container's edge length is A, so the edge length of the larger container will be 4 times A. That's what it says. Each cube contains 144 moles of a substance. And in both of these containers, both of them are filled with the solution to the brim. Okay, so that means the volume of the solution will be, in the first one, the volume will be A cube, and the volume of the second container will be 4A cube, 4A whole cube. Right, because volume of a cube is side times side times side. Okay, and both containers have 144 moles of a substance. Okay, so this one has 144 moles. This one also has 144 moles. The concentration of the compound in larger container is 3 moles per cubic centimeters. Okay, so the concentration of the compound in the larger container. So this capital L in the subscript represents concentration in the larger container. That is 3 moles per cubic centimeters. Okay. Now this concentration is defined as number of moles over volume. So for the larger container, the number of moles is 144. And its volume for the larger one is 4A cubed, and its concentration is 3 moles per cubic centimeter. So 3 equals 144 over 4A cubed. So from this equation, we will get the volume. See, in the end, you have to find out what is the positive difference between the larger container's volume and the smaller container volume in cubic centimeters. We have to find out the difference between the larger container volume and the smaller container volume. Now, the volume of the larger container is 4A whole cube. So this is 4A whole cube, 4A whole cube. Okay, so don't try to find out the value of A from this equation. Don't try to find the value of A. Just find out the value of 4A whole cube. 4A whole cube, it will be 144 divided by 3, right? And that will give you 48. That means the volume of the larger container is 48 cubic, whatever is the unit, cubic units. Okay, and so if you want to find out the difference, you need both the volumes, volume of the larger container and volume of the smaller container. Okay, so now in order to find out the volume of the smaller container, well, volume of the smaller container will be A cube. So I know that 4A whole cube is equal to 48. That means 4 cubes, 64 times A cube. I distributed this exponent. So 64A cube will be equal to 48 and A cube will be equal to 48 over 64, which is 16 times 3, 16 times 4, 3/4. Okay, so there you go. And A cube is actually volume of the smaller container. So this is volume of the smaller container. So that's 3/4. So your volume of the larger container, 48, volume of the smaller container, 3/4. You want to find out the difference, positive difference between them. You want to find out volume of larger container minus volume of smaller container. Will that be 48 minus 3/4? 3/4 is 0.75. So that is going to be 47.25. And that's your answer. The key here is you don't need to find out the value of A in order to get the difference. You just need to find out the volumes. So you can find out the volume without solving for A.